His name was David, born and raised in Texas, a man who believed love meant loyalty, who believed his wife Emily was the center of his world, and because he trusted her completely, he never imagined those soft words and gentle smiles could hide poison. His mother, Anna, a 55-year-old woman with tired eyes and hands that once worked 2 jobs to raise him alone, lived quietly in their home, always stepping lightly, always praying her son remembered the boy she raised with love and sacrifice. But day by day Emily whispered lies into David's ears. Your mother doesn't respect me, she talks against me when you aren't around, she hates me because you married me instead of listening to her. And at first David tried to ignore it, but love can blind even the strongest heart, and slowly doubt crawled in like a shadow under a locked door, until one evening Emily cried fake tears, clung to him, and said, "She slapped me," and his world snapped. Blinded by rage, David stormed into the living room where Anna sat quietly folding laundry, his hands shaking not with truth but with manipulation, and he struck her, once, then again, her soft voice barely escaping as she whispered his childhood nickname, Davy, please, but he couldn't hear love through the storm Emily created, and so each day, poisoned by lies, he hurt the very woman who had once held him through nightmares and fever, the woman who skipped meals to feed him, who wiped his tears when kids bullied him, who walked miles to work when they had no car. And Anna never defended herself, because she feared losing him completely, and so she endured bruises, broken pride, and a heart splintering like old glass, wondering what sin she committed for a son she loved more than her own life to turn into a stranger in front of her, until one day their 7-year-old child Lily, innocent and pure like morning sunlight, walked into the kitchen and saw Emily smiling on a phone call, saying, "He actually hit her again, I can't believe it's this easy." And Lily's tiny heart froze because Nana Anna always gave her cookies, always kissed her forehead, always told her bedtime stories about angels, and Lily, confused but brave, recorded Emily laughing on the phone, boasting to her friend how she was teaching David a lesson so she could take the house and money, how she hated his mother's presence, how she wished that old woman just disappears. And that afternoon when David returned from work, tired and angry as usual, ready to question his mother for some new crime Emily invented, Lily tugged his sleeve and whispered, "Daddy, I need to show you something." And in that small moment the universe shifted, because truth, even whispered by a child, has more power than 1,000 lies. David stared at the phone screen as the recording played, every word slicing through him like a blade dipped in shame and disbelief, his daughter's soft voice whispering, "Daddy." Nana never hurt anyone, while Emily's laughter echoed wicked and victorious, and in that moment his heartbeat turned into thunder inside his chest, because truth didn't knock politely, it crashed in like a storm and tore down everything he thought he knew. He looked at Lily, small and innocent with wide scared eyes, then at the woman he once thought was his blessing, now revealing herself as a punishment he mistakenly called love, and he felt his knees weaken, not from betrayal alone but from the guilt that burned through his veins because every bruise on his mother's skin now painted him as a monster in his own memory. He walked to the living room with steps trembling like a man walking into Judgment Day, and there she was, Anna, sitting quietly sewing Lily's torn doll dress like she used to mend his clothes when times were hard, her cheek still faintly bruised, eyes tired but warm as she looked up and smiled gently as if she had forgotten every hit, every tear, every night she cried silently to God for her son's soul to return. "Mom," he whispered, and his voice cracked like a child's, a sound so broken it made Anna stand quickly, worry filling her face, because even after all the pain she thought only of him. "Davy? What happened?" she asked, stepping forward, but before she could reach him he fell to his knees, grabbing her shaking hands and pressing his forehead against them, tears pouring like rain breaking a drought, and he choked, "Mom. I am sorry. I am so sorry, forgive me please, I didn't see, I didn't know." She lied to me. But Anna didn't pull away, she held his head gently like she did when he was 5 and scared of thunderstorms, whispering, "My son, my heart always knew you would find the truth." And those words shattered him, because her love never moved, even when he broke it again and again. Emily appeared in the doorway, shock turning into anger as she shouted, "David! She's manipulating you. Don't fall for her drama." But David turned to her slowly, eyes like fire and ice both burning, voice low and thunderous, "Enough." And for the first time Emily felt fear because the man she controlled with sweet poison now stood free. "You used me to hurt my own mother, you played with my heart, my family, my home, he said, voice shaking with rage and regret, and for what? Money? Power? Hatred, and she stuttered, searching for lies that no longer worked, but Lily stepped beside her father, holding Anna's hand, and that picture alone, an innocent child choosing love and truth over manipulation, sealed Emily's fate. You will not speak another word in this house, David growled, pointing to the door, and tomorrow morning the divorce papers will be in your hand. My daughter will not grow up learning cruelty from you. And Emily screamed, cursed, broke a vase in rage, but David didn't flinch, because a man who finally sees truth becomes unshakable. Emily stormed out, slamming the door behind her, leaving only silence and the soft sound of Anna's trembling breath, and David, still kneeling, held his mother's hands and vowed, voice steady like a prayer, I will spend the rest of my life making this right, I will honor you, I will protect you, I will never let anyone stand between us again. And Anna, with tears sliding down her cheeks, lifted his chin and said, then stand up, my son. Because guilt does not heal, only repentance and love do. And for the first time in months the house felt warm, like something broken was quietly beginning to mend. Months passed like slow healing seasons, and the house that once echoed with tension now breathed peace again. Anna recovered not only in body but in dignity, because every morning David made her breakfast, kissed her forehead before work, and told her he loved her. Words he once forgot but now carried like sacred vows, and little Lily spent evenings snuggled beside her Nana listening to stories about patience, forgiveness, and faith, stories stitched with quiet strength instead of bitterness. Life felt new, fragile yet genuine, and David worked hard to rebuild what he broke, every gesture a brick in the bridge back to his mother's heart, and though guilt still lived in him, it softened into humility rather than self-punishment, because Anna reminded him daily, true repentance shines in actions, not sorrow. One late autumn afternoon, as leaves painted the street gold, a knock came at the door, a hesitating, trembling knock, and when David opened it, there stood Emily, hair messy, makeup smudged, pride gone like smoke, eyes swollen like someone who finally realized the cost of her cruelty, and she whispered, David, I made a mistake, please, take me back, her voice shaking not from love but from losing control. She looked smaller, almost ghost-like, clutching her purse like it was the last thing she owned, and for a long moment David just stared, the past flickering through his mind like shattered film, every lie, every hit he placed on his mother because of her, every tear Anna cried in silence, every prayer for his return, and a cold clarity settled in his chest. Emily reached out as if touching him could rewind time, but David stepped back, voice calm and steady like a verdict already written in the sky. No, Emily, you didn't lose a husband, you lost a puppet, and I will never live blind again. And she collapsed into sobs, clinging to his sleeve like a drowning person grabbing a lifeboat, but he gently pulled his arm away and added, you taught me what love is not, and for that lesson I am done. Behind him, Anna stood quietly, not gloating, not smiling, just watching with the kind of grace only a wounded heart that healed can hold, and Lily peeked from behind her, eyes wide but safe, wrapped in the kind of home that no longer shook from lies. Emily whispered, I have nowhere to go, hoping pity might crack the new foundation David built, but he replied softly, you chose this path, and I pray you find yourself, but you will not find your home here, and gently closed the door as her sobs faded into the wind. Silence settled, not heavy but peaceful, like a blessing, and Anna placed her hand on his shoulder, saying, forgiveness does not mean returning to poison, my son, it means freeing your soul. And David exhaled deeply, feeling something unlock inside him, as if closing that door finally opened his life. In the kitchen a slow pot of soup simmered, filling the house with warmth, and as they sat together at the table, Lily giggled at a silly story, Anna smiled with quiet pride, and David realized that sometimes God breaks your world not to punish you, but to rebuild you in truth, and in that rebuilt life, there is no room for those who tried to destroy the foundation. The night settled soft and calm around them, and for the first time in a long time, home felt like home again. The months that followed felt like learning to walk again after forgetting how to use my own legs, every step a reminder of what I had almost destroyed. People talk about regret like it's a thought that comes and goes, but regret isn't a thought, it's a weight. It sits in your chest, it breathes with you, it wakes up when you do. And every morning I woke up knowing I once lifted my hand against the woman who stayed awake when I was sick, who worked double shifts just so I could play baseball, who held my graduation photo in the kitchen like it was proof she'd done something right in this world. I once believed a stranger's whispers over her love. That's a wound time alone can't heal. Sophia fought the divorce at first, not because she wanted me, but because she hated losing control. Her voice got sharper, her lies got louder, her tears came when judges looked but disappeared the moment they turned away. But truth has a quiet confidence to it. It doesn't scream, it doesn't perform, it just stands. Eventually the court saw what I had been too blind to see, and Mason stayed with me full time. He's young, but kids understand energy better than adults ever do. He clung to my mother the first time he saw her after everything, like he remembered her softness even when I didn't. And that first dinner back at her place? It wasn't dramatic or movie-like. It was awkward, full of long pauses and trembling breaths. She cooked chicken soup, the one she made when I got sick in 5th grade, and she said, quietly, "Eat, you look thin." I broke then, not loudly, just quietly, like my heart finally exhaled and realized it was safe again. I kept whispering "I'm sorry" until the words tangled into sobs, and she wiped my tears the same way she did when I scraped my knees as a boy. Moms don't stop being moms just because we forget how to be sons. Healing didn't come overnight. I didn't magically become the perfect son or father. Some days guilt hit hard, other days forgiveness felt like sunlight on a winter morning. But slowly we rebuilt. I drove her to church on Sundays, she tucked Mason into bed when I worked late, we started laughing again over silly things like grocery store coupons and old family stories. Life became gentle again, not dramatic, just steady, honest, warm. People sometimes ask if I hate Sophia. I don't. Hate only keeps you chained to the person who hurt you. I let her go, not with anger, but with finality, like closing a door that was never meant to stay open. My mother once told me, God tests hearts by what they hold on to and what they release. I held on to hurt for too long, and I released the wrong people. But now I hold what matters. My mother's hand. My son's smile. My own peace. And every night before bed, I thank God not just for what he gave back, but for opening my eyes before I lost everything forever. Some men learn the value of love when it arrives. Others, like me, learn when they almost throw it away. But the lesson sticks either way. And I will never again forget who loved me first. Please like and subscribe my channel.